Hello students, welcome to today's session. So far we have discussed integer literals and real literals. Today we are going to see non-numeric type of literals, character literal and string literal. So there are two kinds of non-numeric literals, character literals and string literals. Now let me remind you, literals are data, right? Literals are data or values. Okay. So character and string also, they will represent some kind of value. So let's talk about the character literal. So in the case of character literal, I can represent it within a single quote. Character literal is used for representing a single character, and the character should be enclosed within single quotation marks. Okay, so in this example, in this line here, line number 6, you can see I've written system.out.println within single quotations the letter M. Okay, so this is representing a character and the character is M. Okay, now you know that character is just a symbol. Character is just a symbol. So when I print this, when I execute the program, the output is letter or character M. Similarly, let's change this M to something else. Let's make it capital A. Let's compile it and execute it. We can see that the symbol A got printed on the screen. Similarly, I can print hash, let's say a special symbol. Okay, compile this and execute it. So hash is printed on the terminal window. Okay, so I can print, let's say, a digit character. Okay, something like 9. So as you can see, this time 9 got printed on the terminal window. So this is how character literals are represented within single quotations. Now there are some important points you need to remember. Let's say I remove this 9 from here and I give a space. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a space between the quotation, between the single quotation marks. Okay, I just have a space. When I press backspace, you can notice that the space is not there. At the present moment, it's nothing. Okay, I've just opened the quotation marks and then I've immediately closed it. But if I place my cursor here inside the quotation mark and press the spacebar button, the space is clearly visible. So this is just a single space. So even this single space is a character. Okay, you must remember this, that this single space is also a character. Although you cannot see it, if I compile it and execute, it's not visible, nothing is visible on the screen because it is a non-printable form of character. It's a non-printable form of character, and we can confirm this by printing another character. Okay, so there is a space here but it's not visible. Okay, but let's say if I print one more line or on the same line, so on the same line I'm printing another character, let's say character C. Let's compile it and execute it. So this time you can see that the character C is printed, but this time the space character is also clearly visible. The character C is printed after one space. Okay, the difference will be more clear if I remove this. I am commenting this line so that this line will not execute anymore. This line will not execute anymore because I have commented this line. Okay, so this line will not execute. Let's compile it and execute again. See, notice the position of C. It is sticking right to the left side of the terminal window. You cannot see a space here. Okay, you cannot see a space here. Let me just take a screenshot. This is the screenshot of our output. Let's paste it in Microsoft Paint. And now let's bring back our space character. Okay, recompile the program and execute it, and I'll take the screenshot again. And I will paste it next to our previous output. So notice the difference in both the output. Can you see that in this example, in example number 1, there is no space before C, but in the second example there is clearly a space character before the C character. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you, that a space character enclosed within single quote is also a character. Okay. Apart from space character, there is another kind of. Now there are some more non-printable form of characters. We will discuss this when we discuss escape sequence, which is coming 2 or 3 slides later. Okay, I'll be showing you other non-printable form of characters and how they are printed. For now, let's see what happens if I print this. Now let me remind you again that within the single quotation mark, you cannot have more than one character. You cannot have more than one character, because that will not be a character anymore. But in this case, you can see that I've got single quotation mark, but I've got more than one character. So what will happen if I compile this? Will it result in an error? Let's compile it. So after our compilation, you can see that there is no syntax error. Okay, that means what? This is not causing any problem. But let's say I write, I try to print AB. Okay, I'm trying to print AB, which is enclosed within single quote. If I compile this, what will happen? Yes, you can see that error found. Okay, and this error is happening because of more than one character being enclosed within the single quotation mark. But why isn't this causing any problem? It has also got more than one character. The reason is, whenever there is \u, whenever there is a backslash, okay, forget about u, whenever there is a backslash, that means whatever follows after the backslash, it means something special for the compiler. Okay, again I'm repeating, whenever there is a backslash within single quote or within double quotes, I'll talk about double quotes later, but whenever there is a backslash, so whatever follows after it, it means something special to the compiler. So what is that special thing? So that special thing can be different according to what is placed after the backslash. After the backslash. In this case, after backslash, I've written u. That means that this represents a Unicode character. So backslash U092B is representing a single character only, but it is in the form of Unicode. So whenever you try to use Unicode values in your Java program, you have to do it by writing \u followed by the specific code of the character which you are trying to print. So let's see the output of this. What is the output? So as you can see that this Unicode character represents the Hindi alphabet of F. Okay. Let's say I write 0041 this time and I compile it. So what is the output now? The output is coming as A. So backslash 0041 is printing what? It's printing the character A. So what is this? This backslash U represents that whatever follows after backslash U is a Unicode value. Okay, so 0041 is the Unicode value of the character A. So this is about character literal. So what are the important points? The important points are character literal represents a single value, a single character, okay, and it is enclosed within single quotes. Then if you put a space inside the single quotation, that is also a character, but it's a non-printable form of character. Okay, and the third important point which we saw was that you cannot have more than one character inside the single quotation mark, but whenever you write backslash followed by something, okay, that will mean something special to the compiler. Okay, the compiler will take it in a different way. The compiler will understand that we are trying to print some special character. Okay, so that is why it will not result in an error because this \u or \anything represents something special, and that special thing is just another way of writing a particular character. It's just another way of writing a particular character. So this was about character literal. Let's move on and so character literal is done. Let's try to understand string literals. So what are string literals? So just as character literal is represented within single quote, similarly string literals are represented within double quotations, within double quotes. This is the first important point. Next point is that a string is a collection of many characters. It couldn't be one character also. So a string is a collection of one or more characters. The character literal cannot store more than one character, but in the string literal you can have any number of characters. Okay, so collection of one or more characters enclosed within double quotation mark is known as string. So example ABC enclosed within single quotation within double quotation. Okay, so this is a string. This is another example of a string. 5 + 2 enclosed within double quotes. This is also a string. Don't do it. This is also a string. And Goa, Delhi enclosed within double quotes is also a string. Notice in the third example I've got backslash again. So let's discuss this example. Okay, let's start by printing the string ABC. Okay, so within the double quotation mark I've got ABC. So what will be the output for this? The output is ABC. Okay, so ABC is coming from here. Let's modify the string ABC. I am an apple. Okay, I am an apple of category 00 of let's say 478. So I've just written any random words. Okay, don't try to find meaning out of this string. A string is nothing but a collection of characters only. Okay, so let's compile this and let's see the output. So as you can see, ABC, I am an apple of category 478. So it's written within double quotes. That means it is a string. So any character can be, any collection of character can be placed inside the double quotation. One more important point. Let's say I've got ABC again within double quotations. So this word ABC within double quotes is a string, okay? And let's say if I just write ABC, okay? So this ABC is not the same as quotations ABC, okay? So what did I just say? That ABC written in double quotes is not same as ABC. ABC is a string, okay, is a string literal, whereas this ABC, the compiler will think that it's a variable, okay, it's an identifier. The compiler will not know what is this ABC until I define it as an identifier. That is why it is showing me an error. If you can see the red line, see, cannot find symbol variable ABC. So this is the error which I am getting. I compile it and it's not compiling. It is giving me an error. The error is coming due to this line here. This particular line, I've written ABC, okay, without quotation marks. So without quotation marks, ABC has got no meaning at all. That is why it is giving me an error. Same is the case of, I forgot to mention this point while discussing character literal. If I write single quotation A and if I write A without quotation, again this line is absolutely fine. It will print the character A, but here you can see that the red mark has appeared and it is showing me error, okay? So this is very important. While using character, you have to use single quotation, and while using string literals, you have to use double quotation marks. Let's remove this line again. Okay. So I wanted to show you the third example from here, don't do it, which has got backslash, okay? So don't do it, right? Now, so in this example, as you can see, what do you think the output will be if I execute this particular statement? Will this backslash be displayed or it won't be displayed? Let's have a look. So as you can see, in the output, the backslash is not showing. Why isn't it showing? Because I've already explained you that backslash has got special meaning when it is used inside double quotes or inside single quote. So in this case, even if you remove this backslash, let's remove it and execute our program, the output will be same. But then what is the point of using backslash then? So don't worry, it will be clear as I will discuss more examples, and it will become more clear. So in the case of double quotes, backslash, even if you don't put backslash before single quotation mark, it's not a problem. But let's say instead of displaying this, I want to display something written in single quote. Okay, so I want to display single quotation mark. I want to display single quotation mark in the output. Okay, so this is what I should write: open single quote, then one more single quote, and then finally I'll close the single quote. So this should display a single quotation mark. But if I compile it, you can see that there is an error. And what is the error? Empty character literal. Okay, so there is some problem with our expression here. I wanted to display single quote, but this is not displaying. It's giving me error. That is because the compiler is confused. The compiler is confused regarding as to where the single quote is starting and where is it ending. Is this the starting single quote and this the ending quote? If this is the case, then what is this? Okay, and if the compiler assumes that this is the starting point and this is the ending point, then what? Then this should be another beginning of another single quote. So that is why the compiler is confused, and that is where we need backslash. So what will this backslash do? Let me put a backslash here, and now if I compile it, you can see that it has compiled, no syntax error, and the output will be, as I expected, a single quotation mark. A single quotation mark has been displayed in the terminal window. This is exactly what I wanted. So this backslash tells the compiler that whatever follows after it is something special, and it's not part of this single quotation, this individual single quotation mark, which is normally used to portray a character literal. So the compiler will not consider this particular single quote as a character, as a part of character literal. It will not consider that it's the opening single quote of a character literal. It will be simply displayed. It will be the character that will be displayed on the screen. Okay. Now let's say I have got this sentence here. She said, "Come home." Okay, this is the sentence I want to display on the screen. Okay, and as you can see, the sentence has got quotation marks. So this quotation marks should also be displayed on the screen. So normally what you think that you can just write it like this. Okay, so normally you'll think that if you write it like this, open the, because you know this is a string, it's a string, right? It's a string literal. So you will open the double quote and you will also close the double quote. You'll close the double quote, and whatever you want to display on the screen will be put inside those double quotes. So whatever I want to display is within the rectangle box here. Okay, she said, comma, open quotes, come home, full stop, close quotes. Okay, but the problem is that the compiler will think that this is the starting point of a new string literal. So this is where the compiler will get confused again, and we don't want this to happen. So what we will do, and before that, if you see, if I compile illegal start of expression, okay, that means there is some problem here in this line. Okay, the compiler is showing us errors, and that's happening because of this and this single quote. So what I can do is I can put a backslash here and another backslash here. So I've got backslash open quotes and backslash close quotes. Okay, and if I compile it now, you can see that no syntax error, the class has compiled, and let's see the output. So the output is as expected. She said, comma, open quotes, come home, full stop, close quotes, right? So I hope you understand when you have to use backslash when you are using character literal, and when you have to use backslash when you have to use it in a string literal. Now I'll be discussing about this backslash more when we discuss escape sequences, because this topic is actually part of escape sequence, but it was necessary to show you it here. So that you will get some idea about escape sequences. So now let's discuss our next example for string literals. Let's say I've got, so at the present moment I have empty string literal. Okay, there is nothing in there, but let's say I put 5 plus 2. Okay, 5 plus 2, what will this do? If I compile it and run it, the output will be 5 plus 2. Okay, it's not 7, because the compiler will not recognize this plus as an arithmetic operator. It is just part of the string literal. Okay, so whatever is contained inside double quotes or single quotes is just a collection of characters and nothing more than that. That is why compiler will not do 5, it will not do addition of 5 and 2, it will rather just display 5 plus 2. Okay, but if I remove the single quotes and then execute it, this time the output will be, the output is 7 this time, because this time I don't have This time I don't have double quotation marks. Okay, so the compiler will recognize the arithmetic operator plus, and it will know that it should add 5 and 2. So you should be clear with this point as well when you are dealing with string literals. Okay, one more thing is okay, leave that, I'll discuss it later. So that's it for string literal. Let's go back to our slides. So character literal and string literal is also completed. Boolean literal and null literal, let's have a quick discussion on it. Okay, so Boolean literals are used for defining the result of a logical expression. Okay, now what are logical expressions? I will not explain it here because that will be covered in the next chapter. But Boolean literal means what? It shows the result of a Boolean expression. Suppose I say it is raining today. So if it is raining today, that means it can be either true or false. Okay, there cannot be a third option. It is either true or false. If it is raining, the sentence is true. If it's not raining, the sentence is false. So this is what Boolean is. It shows you either true or false. So Boolean literals can be assigned when you use Boolean data type. Okay, so I've written Boolean here. That means Boolean is a data type, and let me create an identifier for it. Let's say S. So Boolean S is equal to true. Now notice that in this S you cannot store anything apart from true and false. S can hold only two values, that is either true or false. Okay, and if I display the value of S, it will show me true. Okay, if I change the value of S to false, it will show me the output as false. Okay, okay, and let me give you a quick example of a Boolean expression. Okay, the previous example was related to a Boolean variable. Now if I say, let's say 5 is greater than 2, inside the system.out.println I have written an expression. The expression is 5 is greater than 2. Okay, so if I execute this, okay, let's compile and execute it. So as you can see, the expression has resulted in being true. Okay, what if I change this to less than? So what will happen this time? Let's compile it and execute. So this time you can see the expression is resulting in false. Okay, so this is an example of a Boolean expression. A Boolean expression will always have the output as either true or false. Okay, so this true or false are known as Boolean literal. Now the last literal is null literal. So what is this null literal? So when we talk about null literal, there are two kinds of null literals. Okay, two kinds. One is this NULL, null, and the second kind is \0. Okay, so there are two kinds of null literals. One is NULL and the other one is \0. \0 is related to characters. Okay, \0 can be assigned only to a character type of variables. Okay, it can be used only as character literals. System.out.print C1 and system.out.print C2. Okay, now what do you think the output will be? Will there be a space printed and then a W, or just W will be printed on the terminal window? Let's have a look. So as you can see that only W is printed and nothing else. \0 did not get printed. Okay, so what is this \0? \0 tells the compiler that the character C1 has stored nothing. There is no character at all. Okay, so remember when I was discussing space character, that a space itself is a character. So that you can do by by giving a space here, isn't it? If you give a space between the single quote, that will represent a space character. But what if I want to store no character at all? Okay, then I can use \0. Okay, so I can say that C1 is null at the moment. C1 is null at the moment. Okay, what is C1? C1 is a character type of variable which can store only a single character, but at the present moment it is not storing any character because at the present moment it is null. Okay, null means nothing. Okay, it's empty. There is no character at all. If there was a space, then yes, space is definitely a character, but null character represents that there is no character. Okay, so remember that this null character can be stored only as a character literal inside a character variable. okay, or it can be stored in a string variable as well. But this null, null, this is a different kind of null. It is associated with something else, that is, it is associated with reference type of data types, sorry, reference type of variables. And this is beyond the context of what we are discussing now, okay. I will just give you a simple explanation that null is associated with user defined data types or reference types, okay. Now what are these terms? Say this is a primitive type of data, this is a non-primitive type of data, okay. Don't worry, it's I'll explain this later, but for now it is sufficient for you to understand that null is always associated with non-primitive types, okay. It's associated with non-primitive types. In fact, I think I have already explained in quite detail about primitive types and non-primitive types in one of the previous videos. So you can have a look at that, and don't worry, I'll be explaining it again in future chapters. But okay, null literal, there are two kinds, null and backslash 0. So backslash 0 is related to character literals, whereas null is related to non-primitive data types, okay. So this is about null literal. So we'll stop here. Thank you.